Your phone is almost out of battery and you're desperate? That, my love, is poor mentality. I, Duchess Dollars, would never go through this because I have 3 iPhones in my purse. One for work, another for fun, and the third for emergencies like this. Oh, you think that's excessive? That's why you're still watching my videos in battery-saving mode. Darling, today we're going to talk about something that absolutely changes everything. Mindset. The difference between a rich woman and a poor woman isn't in the bank account. It's in the head. And I'm going to teach you to stop thinking small and start thinking big. Give this a like if you want to stop being a person with a limited mindset. Hit the bell icon too, because YouTube needs to know you're here to change your life. Subscribe to the channel, because I only share my secrets with those who really want to be rich like me. Let's start with something basic. The rich don't save, they invest. When I went to Saint-Tropez with Mr. Millionaire last week, I saw a gorgeous $40,000 handbag. You know what I thought? I'll buy 3. Why? Because these bags appreciate 20% annually. While the poor woman thinks, wow, that's expensive, the rich woman thinks, what a great investment. I've seen many women in stores looking at designer bags with desire in their eyes but leaving empty-handed. You know what they say? That's too much money for a bag? No, darling. It's not a bag. It's an asset. It's a symbol. It's a passport to elevated social circles. Last week, I was at a Sotheby's charity event. Do you know who was invited to the VIP table? The woman wearing a vintage Hermes bag. It wasn't my last name or my bank account. It was the bag. The rich woman understands that certain items open doors. It's an investment in networking, in opportunities. Another thing, the rich don't have time, they have schedules. Do you think I wake up early? Of course not. I wake up at 10 a.m. to go to the gym because I've determined that's my productive time. Poor women kill themselves working. Rich women work smart. My husband, Mr. Millionaire, always says that the richest people he knows are the ones who show up at the office the least. Did you know that the highest paid CEOs in the world have on average 4 hours of free time per day? When you have a rich mindset, you understand that your time is your most valuable asset. That's why rich women outsource everything they can. I have one person just to respond to my DMs, another to manage my schedule, and another to walk Chanel, my little dog. This isn't an expense. It's an investment in time. The poor woman says, I don't have money to hire help. The rich woman says, I don't have time to do everything myself. It's a complete inversion of priorities. The poor save money by spending time. The rich save time by spending money. Once I was in Aspen. I love Aspen, by the way. And I met a woman who worked 16 hours a day. I asked why she did this to herself. She said, to get rich. I almost choked on my champagne. Working too much is what poor people do. Understand, the rich don't seek work, they seek results. And speaking of results, look at your nails. Are they done? Hair well cared for? Appearance isn't vanity when you have a rich mindset. It's a work tool. When you enter an environment well-dressed, people treat you differently. It's a fact. And when they treat you differently, you have more opportunities. I was at Copacabana Palace last month wearing a basic Gucci dress. Very basic. Nothing fancy. An executive from a multinational approached me thinking I was an investor. We exchanged contacts, and now I'm investing in her company. An opportunity that came simply because I looked rich. Looking rich attracts wealth, darling. Another crucial difference. The poor think about saving. The rich think about earning more. If you're cutting out coffee to save $10 a day, you have a poor mindset. A rich woman thinks, how can I earn $1,000 more per day? It's a question of proportion, darling. I'll tell you a secret. Economy is wealth's ugly cousin. You know that aunt who comes at Christmas and nobody wants to sit next to? That's economy. The rich don't save. They multiply. When you focus on cutting expenses, your brain is programmed for scarcity. When you focus on multiplying earnings, your brain seeks abundance. Tuesdays are my work days, and I put it in quotes because I don't consider doing what I love work. I spend 3 hours answering important emails, taking calls, and planning investments. Only 3 hours. The rest of the time, I'm creating connections, living experiences, seeking opportunities. The poor work to live. The rich live to prosper. A story I've never told. Before meeting Mr. Millionaire, I had a boyfriend who was middle class. Shivers. He took me to a restaurant and asked to split the bill. On the spot, I pretended to get an emergency call and never answered his calls again. It wasn't about the money, it was about the mindset. A man who thinks small will never provide you with a big life. And this isn't about being a gold digger, it's about being intelligent. Why waste your time with someone who has a glass ceiling instead of a sunroof? A woman with a rich mindset knows that a partner isn't just companionship, it's a strategic alliance. Think about it. Would you spend years developing a product to sell at cost? No, right? So why would you dedicate years of your life to a relationship that adds nothing to your wealth trajectory? Love is beautiful, but a well-stocked joint account is even more beautiful. And speaking of men, a good place to find a millionaire is at a polo match or golf. You don't see that coworker of yours saying he's going to play golf on the weekend, do you? That's right. You find who you're looking for in the right places. Another tip: 5-star hotel restaurants at breakfast time. Rich men are usually there before important meetings. Order water, coffee, and position yourself strategically. The universe conspires in favor of those who have strategy, darling. The rich aren't afraid to spend. The poor are afraid to invest. Did you know that most rich people have multiple income sources? When you think I can't spend, change to how can I earn more to have this? It's a subtle but powerful change. Last month, I saw a financial market specialization course. It cost $15,000. Did I think, wow, that's expensive? Of course not. I thought, how will this course bring me returns? In the end, I took the course, met influential people, and I already have 2 new projects because of the contacts I made there. The return has already been greater than the investment. The poor woman asks, how much does it cost? The rich woman asks, how much value does this add? When you change the questions, you change the answers. And when you change the answers, you change your reality. Chanel, my little dog, has a bed that costs more than many sofas out there. That's rich mindset. Why? Because I understand the value of comfort and quality. The rich don't buy cheap to save, they buy expensive to last, and that's what happened when I bought my first property in Miami. People said, wow, what extravagance. 3 years later, the property appreciated 60%. Who's extravagant now? The rich don't spend, they invest. The rich don't have expenses, they have assets. As I always say, I don't mix with poor people, the energy is different. The rich vibrate in abundance. The poor vibrate in scarcity. It's quantum physics, darling. And speaking of physics, have you ever noticed how the rich never run to catch a bus? It's because the rich know there's always another bus. Or better yet, always a driver waiting. Have you noticed how people with a scarcity mindset always fear missing opportunities? It's the last promotion of the year, and they run desperately to buy. People with an abundance mindset know there will always be more opportunities, better ones even. Calm strategy, darling. That's how wealth is built. Duchess, but I wasn't born rich like you, so what? Not everyone had the luck to be born rich or marry a millionaire like me. But you can create your own wealth. Start by changing your mindset. I'll tell you a secret. My parents worked so hard to get rich that I was born tired. And you know what I learned? That working a lot isn't always the path to wealth. Working strategically? Yes. You don't need to do everything, you need to do what matters. The rich look at a problem and see opportunity. The poor look at an opportunity and see 1,000 problems. When the pandemic started, poor people thought, I'm going to lose my job. The rich thought, I'm going to invest in home office and e-commerce. Result? The rich got even richer. I had a friend who lost her job during the pandemic. Instead of panicking, she created an online consulting service. Today, she has a company valued in the millions. Why? Because she didn't see the problem. She saw the opportunity hidden inside it. Rich women understand that recession is expansion time. When everyone is selling out of fear, she's buying with strategy. When the market is down, she's looking for the next unicorn. Understand the difference in mindset? Another thing, the rich talk about investments. The poor talk about bills. At the last dinner I hosted at home, with caviar imported from Russia, obviously, all we talked about was new investments and opportunities. Meanwhile, at my maid's house, when I went to pick up Chanel who had run away there, all they talked about was bills to pay. You are what you speak, think, and do. If you want to have a rich mindset, start talking like the rich. Instead of saying, I need to pay rent, say, I need to invest in my next owned property. Instead of, I don't have money for this, say, I haven't prioritized this in my budget yet. Words have power, darling. The rich speak in terms of possibilities. The poor speak in terms of limitations. Have you noticed how the rich never say, I can't? They always say it's not a priority right now. It's a subtle change, but one that keeps control in your hands. Women with poor mindsets think they need a man to be happy. I know we only need money and new clothes. Our love language is money, darling. There's no such thing as money doesn't bring happiness. I've cried a lot on my private jet on the way to Europe, but I guarantee it's much better to cry in first class than on the bus. If I had to choose between being happy or being rich, I'd prefer to cry on my jet. Why? Because with money, you can buy therapy, spa treatments, travel, experiences that make you happy. Without money, you cry and still have to deal with overdue bills. Did you know studies show that money does bring happiness up to a certain point? The problem is that this certain point is much higher than people imagine. We're talking millions, not thousands. So when someone says money doesn't bring happiness, ask, have you tried it? The poor are afraid to stand out. The rich love being exclusive. That's why I wear these extravagant outfits and enormous jewels. To be noticed, to stand out, to show that I'm different. You'll never see me wearing the same look as everyone else. Another thing, women with poor mindsets think they need to kill themselves working to deserve success. The rich know they can work with glamour, preferably during their most productive hours. In my case, never before 10 a.m. If you're working on something that leaves you exhausted, sweaty, and unhappy, you need to rethink. The rich work with their brains, not their bodies. Unless you're a model or athlete, of course. In that case, work with your body, but charge as if it were a work of art, because it is. Have you heard that to be rich, you need to wake up at 5 a.m.? Lie. I wake up at 10 a.m. and I'm much more productive than those people who kill themselves at the gym before sunrise. The secret isn't waking up early, it's waking up at your most productive time and making the most of it. Think about it. What's the point of waking up at 5 a.m. if you only function well after 9 a.m.? It's like turning on a car without gas. The rich understand their own rhythm and respect it. The poor follow rules created by others. One thing I learned from Mr. Millionaire: being the owner of your time is the greatest wealth. He never, ever schedules meetings before 11 a.m. or after 4 p.m. Why? Because that's his time. Mornings are for strategic planning. Evenings are for networking and family. The world adapts to him, not the other way around. Have you noticed how rich people don't like being asked what they do for a living? You know why? Because the rich don't define themselves by work. The rich define themselves by results. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor, lawyer, or influencer. What matters is how much space you occupy in the world and what impact you make. Rich women understand that lifestyle isn't a consequence of wealth. It's part of the strategy to achieve it. Dressing well, frequenting high-standard places, surrounding yourself with successful people. All of this isn't the prize for success. It's the path to success. Have you noticed how rich women are never too busy? Being occupied is a thing of the poor. The rich are focused, dedicated, committed, but never without time. Having time is luxury, and the rich understand luxury. Another crucial difference: rich women know the exact value of their time. If an hour of your time is worth $500, you won't lose 2 hours in a bank line to solve something that could be done online or by an assistant, right? The rich have clarity about opportunity cost. But of course, not everything in a rich woman's life is about money. It's also about influence, connections, power. Money is just the most objective measure of success, but not the only one. The rich understand that reputation sometimes is worth more than money. That's why the rich invest in social causes, in charity, in ESG. Speaking of ESG, environmental, social, and governance, I love mentioning this to seem intellectual at parties. But it's not just posturing, darling. The rich understand that sustainability isn't a trend, it's the future of business. That's why Mr. Millionaire and I have investments in renewable energy. It's not just for the planet, it's for the returns. You know what's sexier than a rich man? A rich man with social consciousness. It's the complete package. Mr. Millionaire has a foundation that helps underprivileged children. This opens doors that not even money can open. The rich understand that positive impact is the new social capital. The poor complain about politicians, the rich dine with them, the poor criticize the system. The rich learn to navigate it. I'm not saying you shouldn't have political opinions. I'm saying you should transform that opinion into real influence. Once, at a charity event, I met a senator. Instead of attacking her with my political opinions, I listened to what she had to say. Result? I was invited to an advisory committee. Now I can influence public policy directly instead of just complaining about it on Twitter. Rich women understand the difference between price and value. The poor look at the price tag. The rich look at the potential. When I bought my apartment in New York, I paid well above market value. Everyone thought it was crazy. 3 years later, the neighborhood appreciated so much that the investment tripled. The rich see the future, not just the present. And speaking of the future, the rich don't plan for the next month, they plan for the next generation. While the poor worry about the next paycheck, the rich are structuring family offices, creating trusts, planning estate succession. It's a completely different level of long-term thinking. Ugly boys, pay attention now. Stop cheating on your women. We only give you a chance because we want peace. If you also give us headaches, there's no advantage at all, understand? He was ugly, you decided to give him a chance, and now he acts like he's Brad Pitt? Let that be a lesson. And you who's thinking you need a man to be happy, wake up. We only need money and new clothes. When you cry because of a man, you shed tears. When you cry for money, at least you know why you're crying. If you want to learn to be economical, date a poor man. He'll teach you properly. He'll make you add water to your shampoo. And that shampoo is 2-in-1 on top of it. Separate conditioner? What extravagance. No thank you. I prefer my weekly spa day with imported products. Intelligent women are gold diggers, yes. Because being a gold digger is accepting what you deserve. You were born to have the best, darling. You can't be with someone who doesn't give you even the minimum. That's the problem with many women. They stay with poor men and he starts to think you have no value because you accepted being with someone broke like him. If you've passed the age that Leonardo DiCaprio accepts for dating, 25 years for those who don't know, stick with me and I'll teach you how to get rich. It's never too late to stop being a fool, silly. Want to secure a place in heaven? Marry a poor man. Want to secure a place in Saint-Tropez? Be strategic. The rich think differently about absolutely everything, even about food. The poor say, this food is too expensive. The rich say, this restaurant is very accessible. It's all a matter of perspective. Another example, the poor have debts. The rich have leverage. Seems like the same thing, doesn't it? But it's completely different. Consumer debt, to buy TV, car, clothes, is a thing of the poor. Debt to invest, real estate, business, premium education, is rich strategy. Mr. Millionaire always says, Duchess, never use your own money if you can use the bank's money. Why? Because with low interest rates for those with good credit scores, it's better to leave your money earning and use other people's money to invest. It's basic math, but with an abundance mindset. Speaking of math, the rich know how to calculate ROI, return on investment, for everything, even relationships. Sounds cold? Maybe. But it's efficient. Each hour of your day is an investment. Are you investing in people who pull you up or down? I made a list of my 10 closest friends and calculated, do they inspire me to grow or to settle? Result, I eliminated 3 people from my life who only brought problems and drama. Seems cruel, but a year later, my mental peace and my bank account thanked me. The rich have clear boundaries, the poor are afraid to say no. When you understand your value, you stop accepting crumbs, whether in relationships, work, or business. You start demanding the complete banquet with champagne. Another fascinating thing, the rich don't compete. They create categories. The poor are always trying to be better than the neighbor. The rich don't even know who the neighbor is, because they're busy creating something unique, exclusive, inimitable. Chanel isn't a common dog. She's a Yorkshire with pedigree, microchipped, with a premium health plan and personal dog trainer. Create a category. I'm not competing with other pet moms. I'm in another league. When you have a rich mindset, you don't want to be the best, you want to be the only one. That's why I have my very particular style. I don't want to be compared to anyone. I want to be a category apart. Have you noticed how rich people never seem to be in a hurry? Hurry is a thing of the poor. The rich understand that anxiety doesn't pay bills or generate opportunities. Calm, strategy, and presence do much more for your wealth than agitation and desperation. A phrase I learned from a billionaire friend, if you don't have time to meditate for 20 minutes a day, you need to meditate for 2 hours. The point is, when you're too busy to take care of your mind, that's when you need it most. The rich prioritize mental health because they know it's their most valuable asset. Routine? What's that? Monday is the new Friday. Sad Tuesdays are the day I pretend to work. Working on Thursday is only if I were greedy. The rich create their own calendar, their own rhythm, their own rules. You know why the rich are rarely stressed? Because they outsource stress. Assistant to solve problems, accountant to deal with taxes, lawyer to solve issues, personal trainer to force workouts. The rich pay to not worry. The poor say, I can't afford an assistant. The rich say, I can't afford not to have an assistant. It's all a matter of priority. What's worth more, your time or your money? The rich know that time is the only truly limited resource. Another fascinating thing about rich mindset: the rich don't care what others think. The poor are always worried about appearances, judgments, what they'll say. The rich live their way, by their rules, without explaining themselves to anyone. Have you noticed how people with scarcity mindsets always use the word luck to explain others' success? Oh, she was lucky to get that job. He was lucky to make that investment. The rich know it's not luck. It's preparation meeting opportunity. And speaking of opportunity, the rich are always on alert. While the poor are complaining about life, the rich are observing trends, connecting dots, anticipating market movements. That's how I made my first million before 30. It wasn't luck, it was vision. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying everything is a matter of mindset. Obviously, there are real barriers, structural inequalities, privileges. Being born into wealth like me helps, of course. Marrying a millionaire, too. But I know many people who were born rich and died poor because of the wrong mindset. And I know people who were born poor and died rich because they had the right mindset. Mindset isn't everything, but it's the beginning of everything. It's what makes you see and take advantage of opportunities that others don't even realize exist. One final fundamental difference: the poor think in terms of either or. The rich think in terms of and. The poor say, either I buy the car or I take the trip. The rich say, how can I buy the car and take the trip? It's an expansion of possibilities instead of limitation. Speaking of possibilities, rich women understand the importance of diversification, not just in investments, in income sources, social circles, skills. The rich don't put all their eggs in the same Hermes basket. When you diversify your life, you protect yourself against unforeseen events. Losing a job is devastating for those with a poor mindset. For those with a rich mindset, it's just an adjustment of route, because there are other income sources, other projects, other contacts. Women with rich mindsets also practice gratitude, but in a different way. The poor are grateful for having what they have. The rich are grateful for having the ability to create more. It's a subtle but powerful difference. One is passive gratitude, the other is active and expansive gratitude. I'm grateful every day for being born with privileges, of course, but I'm also grateful for having the vision to multiply them. Mindset makes all the difference, darling. Rich women don't give up easily, but they know when it's time to pivot. The poor hit the same key, expecting different results. The rich analyze data, trends, feedback, and change direction when necessary. It's strategy, not stubbornness. You might think, Duchess, this is all very individualistic. Of course it is. Your wealth is your responsibility, not the government's, not society's, not your partner's. When you assume this responsibility, you also assume the power to change it. But that doesn't mean the rich don't help others. On the contrary, the rich understand that true wealth comes from win-win relationships, from creating value for others, from elevating those around you. The difference is that the rich don't do this out of obligation. They do it out of strategy and genuine generosity. One last reflection. Have you noticed how richer societies tend to be more generous? It's because abundance generates more abundance. When you have a scarcity mindset, you hold on to what you have for fear of losing it. When you have an abundance mindset, you share knowing it will come back multiplied. That's why the rich donate to charity, invest in startups, mentor young talents. It's not just altruism, it's expansion of wealth. The rich understand that wealth isn't a zero-sum game. Your wealth doesn't diminish mine. On the contrary, together we can create more wealth. In summary, the rich mindset is expansive, strategic, abundant. The poor mindset is restrictive, reactive, based on scarcity. And the good news is that mindset can be changed. It starts with awareness, then come new beliefs, then new habits, and finally new results. And remember, darling, if you've passed the age that Leonardo DiCaprio accepts for dating, stick with me and I'll teach you how to get rich. After all, being single isn't a reason for sadness. Being poor is. When you change your mindset, everything changes around you. People treat you differently. Opportunities appear more frequently. Problems seem smaller. And most importantly, Your financial decisions improve dramatically. Think about what you would do differently today if you already had a rich mindset. Would you buy that expensive bag or invest in a specialization course? Would you accept that stable job or risk starting your own business? Would you continue in that relationship that doesn't take you anywhere or seek someone who shares your ambitions? See how mindset changes everything? It's the first step to transform your financial reality. But of course, mindset without action is just fantasy. That's why the next step is to put this mindset into practice. If you liked this video and want to change your mindset for good, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. The rich think differently. I want you to practice this new mindset today. The next time you make a purchase, ask, is it an expense or an investment? The next time an opportunity arises, ask, what would a rich woman do? The next time you feel fear, ask, am I thinking in abundance or scarcity? Small changes in how you think lead to big changes in the results you get. Start today, right now. Choose to think like the rich, even if you don't yet have the bank account of one. Oh, and there's more. If you really want to take this mindset change seriously, you need to watch my video, 12 Assets That Are Enriching Women. Be a rich woman. Because it's not enough to just think like the rich, you need to start investing like the rich too. After all, mindset without action is just daydreaming. And the rich don't daydream, they achieve. Today you learned that the difference between rich and poor is in the mindset. The rich think in abundance, in investments, in results. The poor think in economy, in problems, in survival. The choice of which mindset to have is yours. And that choice, darling, makes all the difference between crying on the bus or crying on the private jet. I've left in the first pinned comment several links to rich products that will help transform your life. Products that I use and recommend because I only indicate the best for my followers. After all, those who want to be rich need to invest like the rich, right? And remember, Monday is the new Friday for those who think like the rich. This is Duchess Dollars teaching you to be rich because I want you to succeed in life just like me.